going on? It's Dukes and Bell on Sports Radio 92.9 The Game. We start off every day and every hour by saying, hey, man. Glad to have you here. The Braves are scuffling for the first time this season. And, Mike, we said we were going to go through a stretch in the season where this was probably going to happen, where you lose 3 or 4, maybe even 5 in a row. We've been so good that we've not experienced this season. But right now, we're in the midst of it. And last night, Mike, pitching failed us. Pitching failed us last night.
Yeah, and I had the misfortune of seeing Elder's last start before the All-Star break where when the ball's in the zone, because Carl, he doesn't have overpowering stuff, he gets by on guile, and he mixes his speeds. He's always around the strike zone. He's not afraid to put the ball in play. Team's got to play good defense behind him. That's always kind of been how he's been successful this season. And when he does get the ball up in the zone, or in some cases, guys just made the effort and just went down and got it, he just got shellacked. That's 2 outings in a row where he got shelled. So, not saying we're losing faith in Elder, but he's going to have to make some adjustments with Kranitz and see what they can come up with. But I apologize on the same like record skip about pitching, but we got to get some more. We got to get some more before everybody else does.
Well, when you score 5 runs, Big Bo, in the first inning, you think it's going to be a wrap, right? We've gotten so spoiled to seeing our guys putting up 5, 6, 7 runs in the first inning. We did it again. It's the 5th time this season we've done it, and we've lost 2 of these games.
That should never happen with a team like this.
5 runs in the first, this should be a wrap, but it didn't play out that way, and Elder gets chased in the third. 7 runs, 7 hits last night in 2 third innings. That's not going to get you there. So bullpen has to step up. And then what happens late in this game? Kirby Yates gives up a tying run in the 8th, and then Iglesias, Mike, 3-run 9th. 3-run 9th.
Yeah, that was ugly. And you've lost a lot of pieces. I think maybe because it wasn't necessarily as good as the night shift. But, before the All-Star break, this team was one of the top 10 ERAs. Great staff. But you're missing a lot of components now in your bullpen. And I just get shaky when I see a lot of these guys. They're not dominant. They don't have electric stuff. Kirby Yates is a nice story, but I don't think anybody feels confident when he comes out of the bullpen. So I think you need a bunch of stuff at the trade deadline now if you're AA. And this is not prisoner of the moment, guys. This is the cumulative effects, Carl, of all the injuries the bullpen has suffered.
All right. And we've got to discuss this. Again, I'm not in panic mode, but I do think there is some thought that Elder has regressed. When we get to the month of August and into September, guys, now you're talking about Fried hopefully coming back at the end of the month. You're talking about Morton, who's been great, Strider, but Elder and Soroka are probably going to be the guys on the back end of that rotation. And then you're still talking about A.J. Smith-Sharver, Jared Schuster, Dylan Dodd. You still have some options. But who do you trust the most? And that's what we're going to start getting into, where we're going to start talking about, Mike, in these games that matter, all right? We're still in front. We still have a nice lead. But what does this look like in the end of August and into September during the stretch run? And do you want a 6-man rotation? Because if Elder's struggling, and I don't know how long this is going to go on, maybe this was the last one of these for a while, but 12 earned runs, Mike, and 6 innings pitched in his past 2 starts, that's just not good.
No. So now you got a couple of things on your wish list. I feel that a starting pitcher is needed, and I just don't think at this stage, as the Braves have gotten progressively better at spending, and Liberty Media printing money, that stock is going through the roof, by the way, it's time to let Alex Anthopoulos go get top-level front-end starting pitching. No monkeying around. No like bargain basement stuff. I mean, we mentioned Smiley before and, Dallas Keuchel a couple of years back. They got to go get the best available starting pitching. And look, I understand. I was arguing this. Some Braves fans, Carl, I don't know what you guys are saving this crap for. You saving it for what? Next year? Team is loaded. Go use your prospects. If you got to move on, Chris, and move it. Eventually the farm system will reset. But you're in the window. 3-4 years, Carl, this is your window to go get World Series. So I don't want to hear about, well, you can't trade that guy. Nonsense. Go get some better pitching. We need better starting pitching and bullpen.
The best thing about yesterday, and hopefully they'll bounce back tonight, was Riley. 7 RBI, 2 home runs for Austin Riley. This is what Brian Snicker had to say about why he stopped worrying about Austin Riley a long time ago.
Yeah, it was good. It's somebody asked me about him the other day, and I said, that's one guy I don't ever worry about. He always gives himself a chance to get it going, regardless of where he's at. I stopped worrying about him a long time ago, because I know at some point he's going to get hot. And it was great. The way we kept coming back, as they did too. It was it's like a Coors Field game right there.
Yeah, it just, as Carl pointed out, when you spot a pitcher like Elder, who's an all-star, that kind of lead, you're not supposed to lose that game. And then it just gets back to, what's the excuse? I mean, yeah, we're playing at an amazing clip. You are not going to win 115 games, Carl, maybe 120.
Yep.
But this is still showing what you will be exposed for in the postseason. This is a little sample size of the stuff that will come back and bite you, and why I harp on it. Not having enough pitching when it matters. And the regular season is great. And you all know the postseason is different. If it was the regular season, Bobby Cox would have 5 titles by now, right?
It should have played out that way, Mike. We know that. It didn't, and we lost our 3rd straight game despite Austin Riley's performance. We will see what happens tonight, and we will certainly dive into where we go from here. Last night, we also had a bunch of mistakes. It felt like, we kind of let them back in it, and then we gave the game away. Olsen missing a grounder in the 9th. Sean Murphy, bad throw. There was a multitude of things happening last night as the Braves lose 16-13. 16-13. One of the highest scoring games for the Braves this season.